Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Thursday and it's time for a Magic Stuff. Now, one of the most popular series of videos that we do on this channel is the 3 Best Tricks series. And if you've never seen it before, I talk about 3 tricks that I've seen in the past or tricks that I've done for many, many years that you've probably not seen before that are absolutely killer. Well, I'm changing the format a little bit today, and instead of doing 3 tricks you've never seen before, I'm doing 5 moves with a pack of cards that you have never seen before or you're unlikely to have seen before. Now, I've been doing card magic for about 25, coming up on 30 years now. And I want you to understand something about how I perform card magic. My goal when I perform magic with a pack of cards is I want to make it as simple as possible. Now, to be clear, simple doesn't necessarily mean easy. Simple means simple. So, for example, if I want to control a card, the simplest way to do it is to use a pass or some sort of shift. That's a simpler way because I can just literally put the card in the pack, square up, and I'm done. It's a lot more simple than having to get a break, take a cut, do another cut, that sort of stuff. It's a lot simpler, right? It's not easier, but it is simpler. However, there's some moves, some color changes that are just ridiculous, that are so technically demanding, and from my opinion, they don't really add that much compared to a normal color change, or at least that's my opinion. So I want to share with you today 5 moves. Now, these are all moves that I've done in my card work for years and years and years, and when I'm sessioning with magicians and I'm hanging out with them at conventions and I show these moves, they've normally not seen them before. Now, if you've seen one of these moves before, absolutely awesome. Let me know in the comments down below. If you've not seen the move before, let me know what you think of it. Now, I'm going to show you 5 moves. I'm going to tell you where you can learn them from as well, because they are all available to learn. Obviously, I don't do tutorials on this channel, so I'm not actually going to teach you the move myself, but I'd be more than happy to point you in the right direction of where you can learn these moves. So without further ado, let's get straight into the first card move. So one of the things that you have to be able to do as a card magician is you have to be able to force a card, right? And there's so many different ways of forcing cards. A lot of people use riffle forces or slip cuts or classic forces, and that's great. And there's so many different ways of forcing a card. This is a force that came out years and years and years ago. It's by a guy called Gary Oulette. And it's called the touch force. Now, I first learned this from David ACAR, from his book Random Acts of Magic, which I've actually talked about on this channel before. And it's an incredibly deceptive force. I'm going to show you what's good about it, and then we'll talk about why it's so good. But let me just do the first force for you first of all. Now, I've got Sarah behind the camera. Hey, Sarah, how you doing?
Good.
Good stuff. So I'm going to give these cards a very quick shuffle, like that. Okay, and what I want you to do, you would normally touch a card, but you're over there, so I'll spread through. And the idea is you're just going to say stop anytime you want to.
Stop.
Right there. That one, is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Because you're not so that's the card. I'm going to leave it sticking out the pack, okay? Mm-hmm. And I just want you to have a look at that card. Can you remember it?
Yeah.
Wonderful. So if I leave it down in the middle, that card is lost, right?
Yeah.
Now watch, if I snap my fingers, well, first of all, one card in the pack turns blue, one card and one card only turns blue, and I can tell you your card was the King of Clubs, and right here, we have the King of Clubs. Did that show up okay on camera there, Sarah? Okay, cool. So that's the touch force. Now what's beautiful about this force is it allows you to force a card without actually, without them actually seeing the back, but they feel like they've seen the back. So it's so deceptive. So what happens with the force, and as I said, I'm not really going to teach it to you, but the whole idea is it's a very nice starting position because the force card starts off at the bottom. So if you're wanting to ring in an odd back card from a different deck, you can very easily just gamble a cop that onto the bottom of the deck so you can have a shuffled deck in use. I use this in so many different routines. And then all you have to do when you do the force, it looks this clean. They touch any card they want to, you up jog it, they see the back of the card, and you say, here, I'll just have a look at that very quickly for me, will you? You show them the card, and you're done. You force that card, and you've also hidden the back design of the card. It feels as fair as a classic force. One of the reasons that a lot of people favour the classic force is because it looks so deceptive. You spread out the deck, they touch a card, you touch it forward, and it's their card. You know, you just give them the card. Well, this has a similar sort of feel to it, because when you're actually spreading through, they really can touch any card. They see the back of the card, and then you just show them the card. It's done. And the nice thing is when you're showing them that card, obviously you're hiding the back design, but you're in the perfect position to go into something like a master move or a Kelly Oulette, a Kelly bottom replacement or a master move, so that you can control that card to the bottom, which is a great position to be in when you're actually doing the force. So the first move that you might not have seen before is Gary Oulette's touch force that you can learn in many different places, but the place I first learned it was Random Acts of Magic by David ACAR. So on the subject of David ACAR, and regular viewers of the channel know that Canadian magicians are my favourite magicians, David ACAR published a control many years ago. It was on you know what? I can't even remember the name of the project. I've since seen it in his books. It's in a couple of his different books. I'm pretty sure it's in Random Acts of Magic, but I first learnt it, this is how old it is, on a VHS tape. I can't remember the name of the VHS tape. I haven't got it anymore. Google's not helping. Maybe you can let me know in the comments down below. He had a whole bunch of different moves and tricks that he actually presented to camera. And one of the things he did was on the videotape, he did this trick where you had someone pick a card, you get them to put the deck of cards on top of the TV, and the TV is just playing a random program, and the card flutters down, sticks to a window, somebody walks across, picks up the card, turns it around, it's their card, and sticks it back to the window, and then the screen goes off. Very clever, way ahead of its time. And it was an extra thing that was at the end of the VHS tape that you could actually play. Anyway, doesn't really matter. You can learn this from his books as well. But this is a great way of controlling a card. And I learned this, and I've used this many times. And I've shown it to many magicians. And they have never once said, I know this. I think because he's released so much material, it's flown under people's radars. Let me know if you've seen it. It's a control of a card. It's a very fair control of a card. The downside, the negative of this move is you have to, the way that the card is picked, you know the identity of the card. So if you're wanting to do a trick where you're not meant to know what the card is, this isn't the right control to do. But I do lots of routines where it doesn't matter whether I know the card or not. And this is the perfect control. Let me show it to you. Sarah, you're going to help me with this again. It's a shuffle deck in use. There's nothing special about it. You just bevel the deck. Sarah, I'm going to bevel the deck like this. And as I go through the cards, anytime you want to, just say stop.
Stop.
There, are you sure?
Yeah.
So we got the 2 of spades there. Are you happy with that one?
Yeah.
I'm going to pop it further down, and you could push it in yourself at that point, and it's lost in the pack. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Perfect. Good. And the card's controlled to the bottom of the deck. And it's very discrepant, right? It is very discrepant, but the whole sequence just really flies past people. And it is just it's as simple as that. You literally just bevel the deck, say stop, show them the card that they've stopped on. Jack of spades, brilliant. I'll just bury that down in the middle of the deck. They can push it in, and you're in a situation where you controlled it to the bottom, so you can obviously gamblers cop it, or do whatever you half pass it if you want it reversed in the deck, or whatever it is you want to do. It's in a perfect position to be got, if that kind of makes sense. So yeah, that's. I don't think it has a name. When I first saw it on VHS, he didn't have a name for it. He was like, hey, let me show you this weird thing. Now, the purists amongst you are going to say, well, hang on a minute, it's not a very fair way of having a card picked, riffling down a bevel, but I have no problem with that. I mean, one routine that I do all the time is Stranger's Gallery by John Bannon, and if you've ever seen John Bannon's Force, where he's forcing the second card for the bottom, and he says, I want you to say stop, but don't stop on the bottom card, and they say stop, and he's forced the 8 of diamonds and hidden the back. That's a similar sort of way of having a card picked. It's absolutely fine. The thing is, when you're performing for laymen, they don't know how cards are meant to be held and how they're meant to be handled and how they're not meant to be handled. So I don't have a problem with just beveling the deck and riffling down. And because you're not actually forcing the card, you can be very fair. You can say, look, stop. Do you want to go one more card? Are you there? That's the 4 of hearts. Do you want to go one more? Okay, so you want that one. You want the 9 of clubs. And the reason this works is it's on the offbeat. They look at the card, and then you do the move on the offbeat, and they're not really paying attention to it, and the card is being controlled. And doing something on an offbeat like that is so important. It really is. So it's a very nice control. Like I said, it's in most of his books. But if you know the name of the VHS tape it was on originally, please let me know in the comments down below. But it's an amazing control of a card. So On the subject of controls, you know, sometimes you're going to want to control the card to the top of the deck. My favourite control when I'm controlling a card to the top of the deck is by Gary Jones, who many people will know if you've watched the channel a lot. I'm a big Gary Jones fan. He published something. It's in Life's a Beach, Volume 1. And it's called the Top Con Control. It's called the Top Con Control. It's in Life's a Beach Volume 1. It is superb. Like, I'm talking absolutely superb. Let me show it to you. It's again a shuffle deck in use. Sarah, I'm going to spread through the cards. We'll just say stop anytime you want to.
Stop.
There, that card. Are you happy with that card?
Yeah.
I'll show it to you. I'll show it to the camera. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, and we're going to go through again. Just say stop.
Stop.
Okay, we're going to put that card right there. Okay. And just in case you haven't seen it, there's the card. That cool?
Yeah.
Now watch. I'm going to leave it sticking out. So it's about halfway. Actually, you know what? I want to put it a bit further down in the pack. We'll put it about there. That's about 3/4 of the way down. Sarah would then push this card in herself. And in the action of pushing the card in herself, it's automatically controlled to the top of the deck. That's the card, right, Sarah?
Yeah.
It's called the Top Con Control. Now, experienced card magicians that are watching this will know that this is Gary's variation of, oh my gosh, I can't remember it. Convincing Control. So it's Gary's variation of the Convincing Control. So the original Convincing Control, you have the card picked and it's any card. You have the card returned. And in the action of saying, look, we'll leave it sticking out the pack, in the action of doing that, the card is controlled to the bottom. That's a move that everybody or a lot of people use. It's one of the more popular ways of controlling a card to the bottom of the deck. What Gary has done is he's made it so that you don't have to cull the card. So the card is not culled, it's not riding underneath the spread, but it's very cleanly and easily controlled to the top. So let's say we're using the 5 of hearts, the card gets put back anywhere they want. You show the card and you literally just leave it sticking out the pack. And then you kind of do this thing where you say, actually, we need it a little bit further down. We're going to put it a bit further down, about there, and square it up. And now it's already controlled to the top. So now you can go into a double lift sequence, or you can go into a palm, or whatever it is you want to do with that card. I did this on Magic Live recently. I did a routine on Magic Live on a 6 o'clock, and I did this control, and I had like 3 people message me, go, man, what's that control? That's really good control. That's really fair. What I like about it is it's completely angle proof. You don't need a table. You're not putting the card down. The spectator can put the card back anywhere that they want to. When you're in this situation, like I say, it's angle proof, but I love that, you know, you have a reason for doing that. Oh, I'm going to put it a little bit further down to make it more difficult for myself. And when you're in this situation, I love that the spectator can square up the cards at that point. You can even, if you want to, palm the card off and then give them the cards to square, which is a really nice way of doing it. So it's called the Top Con Control. It's by Gary Jones, and it is an amazing way to control the card to the top of the deck. So the next move that I want to show you is a revelation and a color change. And it's by, well, the person who originally showed me this is Joshua J. And it was way back at the session, before, when the session was still held down on the M5 over in Worcester Way before it moved to London. I was at a session, I can't remember which one. It wasn't the one that I was actually doing something at. I think it was the year afterwards, I'm not too sure. He showed me this. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's really good. And he actually sat down with me. I watched his lecture. He sat down with me afterwards and he showed me this. And I've been doing it ever since. It's on his L&L DVD set, which is still available. It's on his L&L DVD set. It's a really nice revelation of a card. So let me show it to you. Sarah, just say stop anytime you want.
Stop.
Cool. You're going to look at that card. Remember it, don't forget it.
Yeah.
Got it? Cool. And we're going to put the card back. So, well, I don't know. What's the best way to control the card? You know what? We'll do it this way. I'm going to pop the card down into the middle, about halfway down. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Perfect. There we go. So I'm going to give the cards a shuffle. I'm going to try and find your card. Now, here's how I find it. I want you to watch the deck. Does that show up on the camera okay there, Sarah? Can everyone see the cards all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you see that okay? Watch. I'm just going to take a hair. I don't actually have hairs. I'd reach and get hair of somebody that has got hair. Yeah, exactly, right? Watch this. If I just take the hair and pull up, look, I can make one card rise up out the pack. The 6 of diamonds. Was that your card? No, it wasn't, was it?
No.
Well, I'll tell you what, watch, if I just rub that card, it turns into the Eight of Clubs. Was that your card?
It was.
Boom. And that's the control. It's well, the control was just a tilt, obviously. But that's Josh J's revelation. Again, it's one that I haven't seen a lot of people do. So what I really like about this, is it's just a regular deck of cards. It's just a shuffled deck of cards in use. You can do it anytime, anywhere. Once you've had the card picked and controlled, you are literally good to go. And, you know, I do a lot of multiple selection routines. And it's great in multiple selection. It's great when you're doing, I do a lot of visual stuff. When I do walk around card magic, I do a lot of really visual magic, and I'll try to keep it really quick. And I will do longer routines, but I do like the idea of doing really quick visual stuff initially. And that moment where you take somebody's hair and you do that and the card rises up, it's so strong. People freak out at that. And then when you do the next one and you rub it and it changes into their card, it's a great revelation. It looks harder than it actually is. It's actually not a difficult routine to do, but that change looks great. And if you're wanting to go into some sort of maybe ambitious card or card in the box or something, when you've changed the card, you're obviously in a situation where you can then work with a double. So you're actually in a situation where you've got an automatic double. So it's a really great revelation. And it's a really great colour change. As I say, I got taught it by Joshua J. Personally at the session, but it is available on his L&L DVD set. If you do this, I'd love to know down below what you think, because I've never seen another magician do this move before. So let me know what you think down below. So the final move that I'm going to share with you today is a variation of the tilt move, the Vernon's tilt or Marlowe's depth illusion, whichever way you want to go with it. This is something that I actually put out myself. It was on an ebook, bought it for 2 or 3 maybe, from about 15 years ago. I think I might have put it in there's a forum on the internet called Magic Bunny, which people don't look at much these days, but back in the day it was very prolific. And I put a load of stuff in the library many, many years ago, and I think I put it in there, and it might have been on Locked in a Room Without Coins as well. But it's a variation of tilt. And if you don't know what tilt is, it's a way of actually taking a card, popping it down, apparently into the middle of the deck, and in reality it's controlled second from the top. And this is just a way of doing tilt and making it just a little bit more. Sometimes, tilt is absolutely fine if you're not making a big fuss of where the card goes, like if you're in the middle of an ambitious card. Look, let me put it in the middle of the deck again. But sometimes in some routines, you want them to be absolutely convinced that it's going into the middle. And this is what this move is designed to do. So let me show it you. Again, it's a regular shuffle deck of use. Let's just say that they have picked the ace of diamonds and you've got the deck and you want to do tilt. So what you do is you do this. You just, look, I'm going to cut the deck into 2 halves so you can see exactly what's going on. I'm going to pop your card right here, and I want you to see, there it is, going right there. Now you can push it in yourself if they want to, and they can push it in themselves, and then obviously it's controlled second from the top as in tilt. Now the nice thing about this is you're tilting the card second from top, but when the card actually gets fully pushed in flush, it's actually a dummy card. It's it's an indifferent card that's getting pushed in, but they feel like they're pushing the card in themselves, which is quite nice. And I think that's important with tilt. You see a lot of people when they do tilt, they do that convincer move where this card's getting pushed out the middle and then they put it in, which is fine. But I like this. So the idea of it is that you take the cards and you spin the bottom half around. So so that they can see exactly what's going in. And then you put the card into apparently the bottom half of this pack. They see it being pushed through. You then square everything up. They push it in. And as soon as they push it in, you are done. And the card is second from top. It's nice. As I say, you wouldn't want to do it that way every single time. Sometimes it's better to just put the card down into the middle, but sometimes it's better to actually frame it like that. So you can learn that. Check Locked in a Room Without Coins out. I'm 99% sure it's on there, but I'll confirm in the description down below. If not, it was on my original ebook, Born in Free 2 or 3, or sign up for Magic Bunny and look in the library in there, because I'm positive, I put it in there as well. But it's a really nice control. Obviously, I can't teach any of the other 4. This one is mine. I've been doing it for about 20 years. So if anybody struggles finding this particular move and it's something that you want to learn and you like the idea of doing this for tilt instead of the normal tilt, let me know. Craig@magictv.org. Just email Craig@magictv.org. And I will be more than happy to try and talk you through how the move works. So there you have it, guys. 5 card moves using that you might never have seen before. All 5 of those moves are moves that I have done for many, 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 many years, and they all hit, and I promise you, they hit hard. I want you to let me know in the comments down below what you think. Which one was your favorite? Are there any that you do right now? And if so, how did they play for you? Are there any that you've seen that you want to learn? In which case, let me know. And let me know how it goes for you when you do learn them. I think it's really important to have a good working knowledge, lots of different moves, because then when you're in a situation, you can use the correct move for the correct situation, you know, rather than just have one move that you can use over and over again. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, and I will be back tomorrow with a magic rant. I'll see you then. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.